Hello, people of the webs. For a fair many of these months, feels as though it may be a year, I've been actually for a long time, I have been watching the YouTube Shorts. There are a lot of people, including echo chambers, of which are 99.9% conservative or are the alt-right. So there is this black guy called Titus something Smith, and as you may expect from a black conservative, the kid is not very smart. He just reacts to videos that are of alt-right people thinking they've won an argument, or they have won an argument, but against a leftist or liberal person that's not actually qualified for such intense arguing. I believe H-Bomber Guy made a point. H-Bomber Guy pointed out how Ben Shapiro is very good at debunking or debating against liberals that are in college, pointing out how the liberals that Ben Shapiro is mocking or obliterating using facts or logic are in college. They're not fully trained or qualified. This accounts to all conservatives, all people that are alt-right, or the right wing. All people that are conservative always bully or debate against people that are liberal, or left-wing, or leftist, and after winning think it is an actual victory. Even if the leftist in question is not fully qualified yet, because they are in the middle of training. They're not fully trained. Because if there's one thing that conservatives are good at, it is always punching down. Not punching up, or punching towards an opponent or person that is actually an equal in terms of arguing or debating talents, but always punching down. Another thing conservatives are good at is having no compassion or emotion, always taking the money from the mouths of the innocent or the poor or the destitute or the animals in favour of themselves, then saying or blaming the poor people as if it is the poor person's fault for being poor, and making up arguments about how the person should have studied harder in places of education, or saying how they should have been a bit nicer to their parents because then they can get more inheritance or something, basically implying that all of the money that you have is always under control. There are two things to debunk this point by conservatives. First, money is far too circumstantial. There's things like debt, such as student debt, or economy, or inflation, all sorts of circumstances that can stop all of the people, that can stop every person from having access to money. Two, all the other things you are doing, conservatives, are actively making it much harder, tougher, for people to get money in the first place. So conservatives hate other people, or people in much worse conditions, being able to get success, because they think it is too easy for other people to have success in life. Basically, conservatives are completely stupid. Their belief in a god has led them into the path of the mentally retarded. They blame the poor people for being poor. That is how retarded conservatives are. So, there are teachers. For over 100 years, people have been teaching sex education in places of education. It is literally the job of the teacher to teach about sex to your kids. But if the teacher is gay or transsex, or the very rare and very underrated asex, having a relationship is overrated, the very underrated asex, or just anything that's not anything but a nuclear teacher, a teacher version of a nuclear family, the Conservatives or the alt-right go absolutely ballistic. They act like the kids are being sort of groomed by a pedophile. There is no pedophile, it is a teacher. They are gay. So these Conservatives, for months or even years, constantly act like non-straight or non-hetero teachers are trying to groom children by teaching about sex. You see the problem here? The Conservatives prefer children to be ignorant, as to not have information that can be useful very much later in life. Bear in mind, Conservatives are the same people that blame poor people for being poor, acting like your money situation is always under your control. Conservatives are so stupid. They blame the disabled for being disabled, as if the circumstances are actually under control. They blame poor people for being poor. They take money away or prefer the rich people to be richer, the poor people to be poorer. They cheat, constantly lie. And they have the balls to call the liberals deluded. Then they go back to their little homes, or are at home, they go back to their little bed, they pray to their God that seems to not exist, because if there is a God, they most certainly would prefer to punish the Conservatives. The Conservatives are the people to be punished by a God. You have to understand. Then they grin to sleep, laughing, because they think any argument they have against liberals is automatic truth or sanity. That every liberal or leftist is this cartoonish figure the Conservative has in his imagination. For the point of this video, no. The teachers are not trying to groom children. It is their job to teach sex, as of all education. By saying they are trying to groom children, you're basically proof that Conservatives are the ones in favour of censorship. You remember the times of burning the books of education, Christians burning any book of evolution. It is very much exactly the same, but instead of evolution, it is more sex. The Conservatives are trying to censor, because, as always, the Conservatives prefer people to be ignorant. The Conservatives are fucking stupid. These people, I have a lot more other points, however the video's a bit long. I suggest you watch videos by H-Bomber Guy, Sean, The 3 Hours, Crow Guy. Please watch their content, because it is far longer but has a lot more information per time. Basically, the Conservatives are stupid.